I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you so much for coming. That really is the biggest thing, because I know that you have given up so much of your time today on a Saturday of all days to like prime time to come and spend with us and hear me blather on, and also Sadiq. But we're going to give you some really good value. So hopefully you will actually take away something, and hopefully possibly win some really cool prizes here, which we will go into later. So for those that don't know me, I'm Amanda. I'm an involvement guide and coach, which allows me to share my light energy, my wisdom, my life experiences, and my inner knowings with every single person that I come across, whether that be through social media or in person. And that is to bring people to their highest version of themselves, to bring peace into their lives, and to also bring clarity and perspective, and making sure that they can move forward with their life. Because the one thing that, for me, for people, is that everyone on this earth has value to give if they want to pursue that path. Everyone has something beautiful to give and share to the world. And I believe that we are, as a collective, can really do that very well. And what I'm going to talk about today is going to go through what I think about distractions, a couple of stories about my life and the challenges that I've had, and then the steps that I've taken to overcome those challenges to really master that focus.
Okay, you guys are now present with me, you're focused. Let's be honest. Who in the room is having like lots of distractions right now in your life? Be honest, like fully transparent. You got a lot of distractions. That's what we're going to talk about, is not prioritizing certain things in our life. But in general, for the general population, distractions is something that takes you away from your goals. That's why it's called a distraction. It's distracting you away from what you're supposed to focus on. Sometimes it could be things, the environment, society, or people. But the reason why this topic is so important and why so many of us get distracted is because, coming back to what we full circle round, is about all of us, our brains being different. Right? All of us have a unique brain. We have unique fingerprints. We're all different and special in our own way. And that's why you have to understand, number one, that's why I touched on self-love. Because if you're not in touch with your masculine or feminine or both of those energies, then you're never going to really optimize yourself as a human, right? When you're not self-aware about who you are, you can't tap into the best version of yourself or understand what it is to harmonize human potential so you can perform at optimal levels, right? One of the things I coach my clients on a lot is about, okay, what are you struggling with? What are the distractions? And how can we remove or distance those distractions away so you can focus on the goal that you told me you want to achieve? So this is as simple as that. It's not actually rocket science. A lot of people don't focus because they got so many distractions. And I talk to people every single day. The amazing Irina is here, right? I met her in a hotel lobby a few months back. I was working, see her hustling. At some point she got up and I just gave eye contact and I was like, she's definitely working on something. There's gonna be some energy there. At some point, maybe she would love to come to an event. And after speaking to her, like today, here she is a few months later, right? But what I'm saying is, every single day we're meeting people. We're having conversations. We have distractions, family, friends, work colleagues. We're always distracted, but nobody ever comes and says, hey, Amanda, don't worry. I know you have a neurodiverse brain. We know that you have ADHD. We know that your brain's all over the place and you're suffering with all these things. But who said it's suffering? Who says that these are diseases and these are disabilities? Right? That's the thing that I want to really focus on harmonizing with humans, is that whatever brain that we all have as individuals, as humans, we have to understand that we're unique having that brain. So never feel like you are just weird, or you're not good enough, or that you are not a type of person that's able to focus just because someone put a label on you. Right? Because my whole life, guys, people always said, this guy does too much. He needs to calm down. He's too active. He's this. Why? Because they don't have my brain. They don't have my level of energy. They don't have a big vision and a big goal as me. That's all it comes down to. So for me to cut the distractions, say focus in my life, I have to literally only remember one thing. Am I living my life for that person, for those people, for my family, for my friends, for colleagues? Or am I living my life for my purpose, for my dream, for my goal? Because people are going to keep, and I always talk about this in my content, people always come in and out of our life. I'm pretty sure every single one of you sitting here, and the guys at home, I'm pretty sure all of us have had friends, relationships, people, colleagues come in and out of our life. Some of them stayed for years, some of them stayed for just moments, some of them you just met at an event, then you lost touch. But all of us have had people come into our life, and we also have people that have left. But only a few of those gems, as I like to call them, they stick with you till the end. And that's what I'm trying to help everybody focus on right now. You don't need everybody to like you. You don't need everybody to agree with what you're doing. When the people tell you to calm down, you have to understand, is what they're saying aligned with what I'm feeling right now? Because it's not about their life. It's about how are you feeling. And there's nothing wrong with giving people feedback and adding value to someone and potentially giving some advice, if they know you, like you, and trust you already. But if they don't, please don't go around giving everybody advice. And that's for ourselves to go to others, but also for other people. When they do that to you, don't just take everything that someone says to you and take it personally. That was my biggest lesson in life. Because when I was growing up, people were telling me, you should do this, you should do, even till today, the amount of opportunities and doors keep opening for me. Sadiq, you should try this. Sadiq, you'll be really good at real estate in Dubai. Sadiq, you'll be good at this and you. I know I'll be good at those things, but is that my purpose? No. Do I like selling property? No. Do I like being in community and serving and coaching and guiding and supporting and building my own thing? Yes. Makes me fulfilled, makes me happy. As challenging and hard, as chaotic as it is, I still love it. And that's why I always say, when you have a vision that pulls you like harder and faster and deeper than anything else in the world, nothing can stop you. For the past almost a year, right, building this community for me, challenges, obstacles, distractions, hardships, so many things. But why do I keep going? I always ask myself, why am I doing this? Like, why do I keep hosting these events? What do I get out of it? I don't make money from them. I don't gain any level of financial gain from them right now, right? But I know the long-term vision of how I'm able to change so many people's lives. But I have to start here with what I have. So that's where resourcefulness comes into play, right? Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. You have to become resourceful in the world. We have everything with us. We have everything today online to learn. The coaches, the mentors, the groups, the books. That's changing millions of people's lives. But how many of you read these books and then you take action on all the pages, if not at least one page from the book? Like the first book that ever changed my life was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's the one I read first in the personal development business world. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And there was only one page. I pretty much forgot everything else in the book. But I just remember that one page it gave me the biggest paradigm shift. And you know what it was? It was all related to mindset. It was related to the poor mindset of living our life and the rich mindset. It was nothing to do with wealth and like money, how much in your bank account. No. It was about the mentality that we show up with in the world. Some people, our friends, have a poor mindset. They think everything's expensive. They think everything is going wrong in their life. Everything's a challenge. This and that, and they complain and they moan and they're always saying everything's negative. But when you're around rich, wealthy mindset people, they don't have to be financially rich. They're just in the mindset. They already believe that what they're going to do is already happened. Like they're manifesting it as they're talking to you. That's what I do all the time with the people around me. Right? I always tell them, stick with me long enough, you'll see MYNDtopia on like Coca-Cola Arena, Wembley Arena, like all these things. Because I see it in my head already. So all I need to do now is just keep going. Like, it's hard and it's challenging, yes, but Sadiq keeps going for the rest of my life. Maybe one day some of you guys are still going to be there with me on the journey. Maybe not. Life happens. Things are going to happen. But the main thing is the focus, the cutting out the distractions. The first thing to identify distractions is, what are they? Today, the first time ever, maybe second time, last event with the video editing, I had notes. I never ever done a speech in my life with notes. Not even my TED talk. No notes. I always talk from the soul, from my heart. What comes out is what you get from me, from real life experience. And I believe that's the most powerful form of coaching, mentorship, guidance in the world. Because when you try to script everything, I can just read this, right? You guys are going to go sleep. You're already in sleepy meditation mode. I start reading from a book, or I start putting you to sleep from PowerPoint to death. right? You already had enough of that in the corporate world. You had enough of that in your job with the meetings and all of that stuff, right? And I'd been through that too. That's why I have notes, just to make sure that I give you guys the most amount of value today, so you take away executional, actionable steps for you to go and implement in your life. That's all I ever want for people. Because I can tell you everything. Amanda can teach you everything that she's gone through, her story from her journey, and she's gone through a whole load of deep, crazy stuff that her stories alone can change your life because of how she overcome these things. But we can give you all the tools, the strategies, the books, everything. The only person that can change your life is you. That's what I have on my phone. The cover. It says what I showed Emily earlier actually. She said, what's on your phone cover? Like, what's it say? And it has my own quote on it. Something that I live my life by, to remind me that this is the only mantra that I have. Nobody knows you more than you know yourself, or better than you know yourself. So yeah, like, nobody knows you better than you know yourself. And when you think about it deeper, like, really take a moment to just think about it. How many people in your life always are telling you what to do? Or growing up, your parents have told you, you need to go to this career. You need to study this in education. You need to become a doctor, an accountant, a politician, a this, a that, whatever it may be. But when's the last time you spoke to yourself in the mirror and said, hey, Sadiq, what do you want to do, dude? What do you want to do in the world? Forget about everybody else. What do you want to do? What makes your soul on fire? What makes you excited? What makes you happy doing what you do? Because if you don't know, or you don't live your life doing what you love, people will always dictate your life for you. And I truly believe this is why we're all distracted. Because everybody's telling us what to do with our life. Guys, you already know. Inside of you, deep in your soul, you know what you want to do. You know what you love. You know what your passions are. It's other people's opinions that are stopping you from doing that thing. Like they did for me for many years. Until the day I broke the chain. And I was like, no more. I no longer give a crap about other people's opinions. And that's the day that changed my life. I took out my phone and I started making content. And it all started from Wisdom Wednesdays on Snapchat with 8 people watching me every week on a Wednesday. That's where my content, video, public speaking, confidence journey started from. All from just a screen. Why? Because I wanted to practice to be confident. I wanted to practice to be a better version of myself. I wanted to practice how it is like to be focused at something. And guess what? That was like 8+ years ago that I started that video content journey. I don't have 1 million followers. I don't have a whole bunch of huge, life-changing business right now. I don't have something that's huge and thriving with all this big audience. You know what I do have? Everybody knows me for one thing. Any guesses for some of you? Emily knows. Emily knows. Maruk knows. A lot of you guys in the community, you know. And that. Thank you. I love that. Carrie said authenticity as well. I love that. So I'm so grateful he said that as well, because I try my best. Like, I honestly do. Whether it's on my content or in person, I really, really every day show up just trying to be me. Because I just fed up of wearing all the masks and the facade of everybody. Why do I have to show you and make you happy or make you proud of me? Or why do I have to do everything for you? I should be feeling comfortable in my own skin, being me. As imperfectly perfect as I am, as crazy, delusional, makhala that I am. Why do I still show up? Being myself. Because when you can be yourself, you're able to stay focused. You're able to do something that you love, and you're able to cut out the noise and distractions. And that is what I do. One of the biggest things that I always teach everybody, whether it's my clients or anybody in the community or just people that I meet, you're probably thinking, okay, how do you stay focused, Sadiq? You have all these distractions, we have distractions, we get it. But how do you stay focused? The number one thing that has helped me the most is to become a student of your calendar. That's literally how simple it is. If you don't know what your life looks like in the next 7 days, then you're distracted. I'm sorry, but you have lots of distractions in your life. And if you're not able to I'm not even telling you, give me your 5-year goal. What's your 12-year vision? I'm not that coach that tells my clients that I need to know No. Next 7 days, what are we going to focus on? I still want to know your vision and what you want to do. Great. We need to have a big vision. We need to have something that pulls us and wakes us up and gets us excited. But then what are we going to do in the next 7 days that's going to be executional, that we're going to hold your hand and we're going to take action one step at a time? I wrote something here yesterday because I was thinking about it, and it was so powerful. Let me see if I can find it. It just hit me, and I was like, so many people talk about distractions. So many people talk about the lack of focus in their life. But they never talk about the fact that even with all those distractions, we are able to stay so disciplined and so consistent in our life with the focus that when we put our focus and our time and our energy into something that we love. Because when you don't have something that you love and you don't have a why, as they call it, when you don't know when you wake up in the morning, why am I here? What am I going to do today that's going to either help me become a better human or help me to grow into a community, a family, something? But how am I going to cut out the distractions in my life? Because the biggest distraction in all of our lives right now, any guesses? she's looking at me thinking, I already know. Biggest distraction in your life right now. All of you have it. It's in your pocket. Yes. And as much as you're gonna kill me for it and say no, I'm careful, I use it properly. Let's be honest. Every time you open Instagram, you open TikTok, you open LinkedIn, Snapchat, whatever platform you use, WhatsApp even, you have messages that bring triggers into your life. Constant worry. Oh no, I need to reply to this person. Oh no, this person wants my time. Oh no, this one wants to take my energy. Oh no, this one I have to go reply to because it's important. Oh no, I forgot to schedule that meeting. Oh no, I have to go and post that thing. Oh no, I need to go and worry about this and worry about that. And guys, honestly, like for a second, give me your eyes. I promise you, being the person that posts since 8 years ago every single day and never missed a day, right? I promise you, why am I still able to live so present and so conscious? And some of you watch my Instagram stories, right, and you see my life every day. You see wherever I go, I video it, right? Why do I do that? It's not because I want to post it because I want to look at a fancy place. It's because I'm actually there and I'm trying to show glimpses of like how I live. A little glimpse of me walking in the park with the little ducks. Look, I'm looking at the swan. I'm looking at the ducks. Oh, it looks so cute. I wish someone was with me to see that right now. So I'm trying to put you guys into my head, into my brain to be like, this is how conscious living works. Wherever I go, wherever I travel, I try to give you glimpses of my life. So you can understand that I can't just keep coaching and teaching and guiding everybody in the community or one-on-one. You have to see me live it. The best leaders or servant leaders, as I said earlier, are the ones that lead by action. If I don't act and you guys won't trust me. You guys won't like me. You'll be like, he's not authentic. Because he just does that because of fame, or he wants to be fancy, or he's just showing off or whatever. But I do that to show people the conscious way I'm living my life. That I take breaks in between them. That I am looking after my mental health. That I am looking after my physical health. When you see my little gym clip. Right? And I know some of you guys get scared about that, but the reality is that if I can do those triple clap push-ups and all those Superman jumps and that crazy stuff, and you just see like a minute of that clip, but you don't see the 8+ years of me every day going to the gym in the morning, how like practicing and learning that. It's not always about the outcome or the output. It's about the input. Are you showing up every day? Are you taking action? Do you have a calendar that tells you exactly what you're going to do in the next 7 days? Do you block it off? And there's a concept in the calendar that I'd love to like introduce you guys to. It's called time blocking. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it before, but it's called time blocking. So all you do, and there's also like a method called the Pomodoro effect as well. So essentially, you break up your day into like 25-minute blocks of focus time. So this is one of the ways you can cut distractions of your life. Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, your Android calendar, whichever calendar you like using the most. I prefer Google just because it's linked and it works great with all the platforms that you're already on. And you just color code everything that you're doing in your life. And I mean everything. In the next 7 days, if you just go through your calendar, you will actually see yourself where there's blocks of times that you're wasting. You still have the same 24 hours I do and they do.
Yeah,
So it's about prioritizing your time. But it's different for everybody. The windows of time that we have free is different for everybody. Like you said, you're a family man, you have a full-time job, maybe kids, family. But I never take time as an excuse. I've met so many people of the last 10 years. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. Why are some people more wealthier, successful, happier, fulfilled, purpose-driven than us? Because they know how to prioritize their time. They don't magically have more time than us. You know what I mean? We all have the same pocket of time, 24 hours. How are you utilizing it though? In the half an hour that you have in the day, in the 1 hour that you get in the evening, after you play with your kids, family, partner, relationship, everything. This is what I'm saying. Just fill out the next 7 days in your calendar, exactly what your life looks like right now. Your family, your kids, your relationship, everything. Fill it out. Because data doesn't lie. When you look at the calendar and you see everything, I'll be like, look, see? Said you don't have time. Look. Thursday evening at 8 till 9, you're watching TikTok videos. And you know it. That's the one space I see in your calendar. What are you doing that time? I can give you a book. You can read that book. I can give you some videos. You can watch those videos. Look, that's fine. So, exactly. So I'll give you the book. Go to the library, read the book or read it on your phone. So, don't get me wrong. I'm just answering your question, right? And I hope it makes sense to you. I just want you to realize that we all have the same 24 hours. But why are some of us more focused than the others? Yes, we all have different lives. Some of us are single, some of us got relationships, some of us got family, some of us got hard, like you said, a pressuring job. Bless you. But at the end of the day, we all have the same 24 hours. How are you utilizing it? What does it look like in the next 7 days? Because this is literally the first thing I do with every one-on-one client that I work with. First thing, calendar, please. First, synchronize your calendar with mine on Google, because you can do that. And then let's help you figure out the next 7 days. Then I'll be like, these are the places where we're going to implement the most amount of value, the most amount of action steps. And then give it a month and you'll be like, Sadiq, you were right. I'm getting so much more done. I've cut out the social media. I've cut out this. I'm getting so much done. Why? Back to what I said earlier. Conscious living. You're living in the moment. You're doing things. Forget about the online dopamine hits that you're getting excited. Ha ha, he, hoo, ha ha. Forget it. It's not helping you. Look, sometimes in the evenings to de-stress, I remember talking about Amanda with this a few weeks ago. I'm not against it because I love it. I'm there. I use it every day. I'm on it. I know how it feels. But that's why I became more conscious of it, because I knew that's the biggest distraction. Because when TikTok first came out in 2020, I was there. Started at 6 o'clock, ended at 2 a.m. My life was gone. I was like, holy moly, I was supposed to do these outbounds and these messages and this and this. Gone. Because I was just swiping and swiping. La La Land, guys. You're just going to end up in La La Land. You don't get stuff done. That same amount of time, even for 1 hour, you focus. Imagine how much your life will change. Just 1 hour a day. You focus on something that you know you have to do, a priority. So social media is one of the things I wanted to mention, because I know every single one of you, and including myself, we are all part of that world where we use social media. But my thing is this. Here's the action step for you guys. Instead of consuming, post content. Your own content, your own story, your own inspiration, your own vlog, your own whatever it is, but show people that you're on a path of growth. And then you'll attract these beautiful right people into your life, like I have done. So I'm just trying to show everybody how I'm living proof of what I'm creating. So they can't say, oh, how did you do that? How did you? Look at my life, look at my actions and see what I'm building. It's because of all the little steps I take every day. The moments at night, I'm still up until 12:30 to make that post. Then I post it in the morning or post it in the evening or whatever. But my point being, social media is one that if you cut out, I promise you, you'll be able to stay so much more focused in your life. But again, this is a whole other topic that you can go deeper into. But I wanted to, that's like the one piece of value. If every one of you just took that one thing away today, become a student of your calendar, plan the next 7 days, see where the empty slots are, and then you'll see where you can start doing more things in your life and live more consciously, more present in the moment. Because distractions are going to keep coming. You're going to keep having so many things coming into your life and, hey, why don't you try that? Why don't you try this? And sometimes you're always going to be dragged by other people. Hey, we should come and do this. We should come and do that. Hey, when I hang out there, when I hang out. No. Learn to say no. This is my second lesson. Start learning to say no. And don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel, oh, I'm being bad, I'm being rude, I'm being dishonest, I'm being disloyal to my friends. No. You're being disloyal to yourself. Because you still have that same 24 hours I was telling him. And by you giving your time to everybody, you forget about yourself. Then you're drained. And then you're stressed. And then you're worried. And then you figure out what you want to do next. But you're stuck. As everybody says. Feel stuck. I'm lost. Don't know what to do. I don't know what I need to do to be able to stay focused in my life. So that second lesson is to make sure that you say yes to yourself and no to everybody else. At least for X amount of time. And you can even communicate that. Communication is so important. Just let them know, hey, right now in my life, I'm super focused on something that I'm doing. I know I'm your friend, but I'm really sorry. Like, please give me some time alone to just focus on my goals and my dreams. I'm still here if any emergency comes up, but if you're going to support my goals and my dreams, you will understand. And if you're not, and you think I'm being evil or rude or bad or whatever, that's up to you. I'm not a bad person. I know who I am, but I'm here because I want to serve and I want to go after my goals, my business, or your career. So hopefully some of these things are like actionable things you guys can go away with today. There's way more, and I would love to share more with you, but we don't have that much time. That's why I want to give to Amanda. But these are just like the 2-3 things that even if you take away one thing, guys, the cutting out the distractions from social media, or limiting the time that you're spending on it, the planning the next 7 days of your life, all of these things are going to drastically change your life. And I can guarantee you and promise you why, because I lived that. I did exactly what you guys are going through. Many of the distractions I also went through, but I'm able to stay focused. And guys, I have a crazy brain. I can't tell you enough. Like, some of you know me, like really know me, like, you always telling me to calm down, always telling me to like do less or whatever, or look after myself. And I'm almost like, I am looking after myself. That's why I'm able to wake up and sleep on time and go to the gym. And I have a strict routine and consistency in my life. Why? Because I practiced saying no to everybody and only giving my time to the people who I value and the people that value me. Like, my brain is like, I can't do one thing. Multitasking. It's not really multitasking. It's more spreading it out. But I can't just do the community business. Doing this, but I have to still do content creation. Because I love content creation. I want to make things and show people the vlog. And then I've got like family stuff going on. So I go make time for family, do family stuff. Okay, then I've got these other secret project in the background happening, and I'm working on that too. So like, what I mean by crazy brain is I love doing multiple things. But here's the key, because I know some of you are going to be like, oh yeah, but you're not being focused. You have to give 100% to the thing when you're doing it. I don't give less than 50% to all of them. Gary Vee says that in your hustle or in your work, in your productivity, in your life, don't be like half pregnant. And I was like, that sounds so weird, but it's true. Like, you can't be half pregnant. Like, you have to go through the full journey for the full process, which means like you have to give 100% to the one thing you're doing in that moment. Then once you finish that task, crossed it off or ticked it off the calendar, then you move to the next one. So this is what I've mastered, the productivity wise. That's why the calendar is helpful. Because when you can see what you need to do, you can mark it off, you get a sense of accomplishment. That's the one other thing I forgot to mention. Something called Eat the Frog. I don't know if you guys have ever read the book by Brian Tracy, Eat That Frog. He talks about the concept, simple concept. Start every single day doing the hardest thing first. That's it. What's the hardest thing you need to get done? Send that email, that work colleague, the teammate, family, friend, something for your business, posting a video, whatever it is. Do the hardest thing first. Then you get a sense of accomplishment. You feel proud of yourself, and then you do more. That's how we should live every single day. So calendar, taking action step by step, focusing 100% on one thing and one thing at a time. And at the same time, knowing that when you give your energy and heart and love to that thing, that you're there, present, consciously doing your best. And even if it was a crappy day, it's okay. You don't beat yourself up. That is the other thing that most people struggle with. They start hurting themselves. Then it becomes self-harm, not self-love. And that's another topic that we're not going to go into. Self-harm. But hopefully you guys got some value from some of the executional things that I really want you guys to take on board and practice in your life. Amanda got some beautiful notes for you as well. And like I said to you before, some of the stories and some of the things that she shares with you is, I know her based on many deep conversations that we had, that she is someone that has overcome so many hardships and challenges and obstacles in her life. But now she's in a point of her journey where she's like, she understands everything that I just said. Like learning to say no to people, cutting out distractions, focusing on her posting, on her schedule, on what she needs to do. And she has a crazy life too, which you'll get to know. So without further ado, beautiful Amanda, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so for me, distractions are, everywhere, and they can be anything and everything. From internal distractions to external ones. So for external distractions, the biggest thing, there's like two sides, right? There's the one side where's the annoyances, I like to call them, the annoyances, where you get like interruptions, there's noises coming left, right, and center, or like anything that really interrupts your senses, right? And then there's things where like people are demanding your time, your emails, phone calls, messages, absolutely everything. And then there's the other side of the external distractions, which is your instant gratification, which Sadiq's already touched upon, which is your social media, your people, your shiny places, your shiny things where you go, oh, I want that, or oh, I can just go here and like, I don't have to do that piece of work. I can just wait. Till like, next week, I don't have to do that right now. I can do that tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes. And then another shiny distraction comes. So distractions are everywhere and anything. And then what drives those external distractions is actually what your internal distractions are, which is your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and that internal narrative that you tell yourself. So what is it that you're actually telling yourself? What is your internal narrative? What is it that you're telling yourself? Because that is what's driving you to go from whatever distraction you're going from next to next. So it could be a relationship. It could be, oh, this guy really fancies me. Like, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're like down a path that you were like, that was a waste of time, right? So it's like, again, so how do we manage those distractions? Or minimize them, because they won't just go away. They are every day occurring all the time, like all the time. So, and one of the biggest distractions is when we are sitting in fear, right? And we are driven by our fears and we allow the fears to kind of take over. And so, like, for me, I didn't know I was neurodiverse, right? And that term can mean so many different things for many different people. And for me, like, it encompasses a whole umbrella of different neurodiverse traits, including ADHD, autism, etc., etc., etc. And so my brain is completely different from Sadiq's and completely different from everyone else's. And when I'm in crisis mode, everything is just so much more amplified, and it, like, everything takes over. It's like hyperfixation, like, kicks in, and I'm like solely focused in on this one thing that's like driving me crazy, and I'm like, I don't know how to get out of that. So, one of the challenges that I faced, especially when I was younger, was English when I was at school. Like, I did not understand it. For years, I was reading things and I was like, I felt stupid. I didn't know what I was reading. I didn't know how to analyze a piece of writing. I didn't know how to, like, what they wanted from me. They wanted me to write these essays. I didn't know what they wanted from me. And so my mum and dad, they got me a tutor. I was very, very fortunate enough to get said tutor, and the tutor would sit me down and we'd go through it, and I was like, but something still wasn't clicking. Like, I was understanding the theory, but like, it wasn't, every time I would try to put it in practice, like, nothing was happening. And this went on for years. And then it wasn't until like this one teacher that came along, and she realized that the struggle was happening. I'll never forget her, other than her name, the irony, of course. And she would sit me down and she would show me exactly, like, how to get from this step to that step. And all of a sudden my mind was like blown. Something just clicked into place. And I was like, wow, like, that's what you wanted all this time? And like, it was because of the way that she showed me, and she knew that my brain worked differently, that she had to show me a different way. And because of that, I was able to pass all my general work throughout the year. But then when it came to my exam, I still failed because it takes a lot of time and for me to process my thoughts, get them organized and put them onto paper and also to write. Like I'm the slowest writer ever. And so like I failed because of that reason, because no one knew that I was neurodiverse. No one said, "Oh, I wonder if Amanda's this." No one said anything. And why would my parents say it? They don't know, it's a completely different generation. They didn't like neurodiversity wasn't a topic back then. It just wasn't spoken about. You just kind of learned to kind of get on with it. And so like this really was a big like fear of mine that I wanted to like conquer and overcome. And so one of the things that I did was I went on to become a TEFL teacher. Again, the irony. Teaching English as a foreign language, for those that don't know. And then again, years later down the line, I got my degree in international relations. Again, but this was things to prove to myself that I could do it, so that I didn't feel like I was stupid, right? Like that was a big thing. I didn't want to feel stupid. Like, and how did I prove it? I did it through these things, but I didn't need to do these things. And why was I going off and I was doing them? And that was like why I did it and why I was going on that way. And it wasn't until the only person that ever kind of like said something to me was when I was in college, was my lecturer at the time. I was studying drama and I was rehearsing a play on stage, and I there was this set, and I broke the door handle off the door, and the lecturer said to me, she was like, Amanda, are you dyspraxic? And I was like, what's that? And she was like, oh, it's the practical form of dyslexia. And I was like, again, like, mind was absolutely blown. Like, this was the first time that someone had actually said to me that, that I'm different, like, and this was crazy. And so I went off and I did my research and I was like, right, looking into this. And I was like, this makes so much sense about my life, like, of all the things that have come before, right? Like, and I was just like, and I wanted to get tested. But to get tested is so expensive, like ridiculously expensive. So that got packed to the side. And I just went through life as I always did, right? And how I focused back then was my sheer will, my determination, and my energy. That's all I did, like, because someone that told me that I couldn't, and I was like, watch me go and do it. That's how I managed to focus when I was younger. But as you get older, you don't have the same amount of energy as like you once did when you were younger, right? So like then you have to think of things in a very different way, and you have to take and really utilize your time very, very carefully. So, and it wasn't until a few years ago, about 2.5 years ago, in my previous role, and that I managed to get a test through my old work. And I didn't just have dyspraxia. I had a whole array of traits, of neurodiverse traits. And this was a lot. Like this really hit me hard, like emotionally and mentally, because it wasn't just like, in one sense, it was kind of a relief. But in another sense, I had then this whole window of like into how my brain was like functioning, how I actually worked, and could actually dig into detail. Right, okay, these are something I have to work on. This is what I have to work on for this. This is what I have to work on for this. And so because I complete tasks in very different ways from people, and I find it really, really challenging. Now, having a neurodiverse brain can be like an absolute gift, but it can also be a massive struggle because it takes a lot of brain power to do specific tasks that I can't do. Like, and so that's why it was such a journey, because and at the time I was in a role where I was in a highly massive intellectual environment where that demand was just constant, and it wasn't designed for me. It wasn't designed for me. I couldn't keep up with the pace. And so it was hard. And last year I was in full crisis mode where my whole life was dismantling, and that job was coming to an end because I was contracted up until October last year. And so in March, you think, oh yeah, I'm going to apply for roles, I'm going to do this, and that's going to be plenty of time for me to find a role, right? Well, the general election hit, didn't it? And the recruitment processes kind of stopped. And I was like, great. So competition for roles in the sort of civil service where I was, it was tough. Like, it was really tough. And so I would spend so many weeks and hours like on applications, and I would get through to interviews, prepare for interviews, etc., blah, blah, blah. And then I would pass the interview, but not get the job. So I was then waitlisted. And this happened for several roles. And I was like, and it was coming up towards the October, and I was, okay, right, I don't have a job. So if I don't have a job, I'm not going to have money. And if I don't have income, where am I going to stay? Right? So there was like a real chance that I was going to be homeless. And this was the reality that I was facing, like that I was going to be homeless. Because I'm Scottish, right? So my family is like all up in Scotland. I'm down here on my own. I have beautiful, wonderful friends. But like, this is London, and everyone doesn't everyone doesn't have a spare room. So like, it was a real fear and reality that I was facing. But I was so kind of hyper focused in on it that I kind of had broken down, that I had to take a step back and think, right, how do I get myself out of this situation? Because if I carry down this fear route, I will end up being homeless. I will end up there. So what is the other route that I'm going to take to get myself out of this situation? And so I'm going to share with you the following kind of steps that I kind of took to kind of get out of this, to get myself realigned back into focus. And so step one was rest and reflect. So I really had to take some time out, like, because I was mentally and emotionally exhausted, and it was impacting on everything in my life. And when I was at work, I was at work and I was doing work. And then when I wasn't at work, I was doing applications, etc. But when I wasn't, I was like, I couldn't move. There was days where I just couldn't get out of bed because I was so exhausted. And I couldn't allow that to happen anymore. So I had to take the time to rest. And then the reflection part was, right, okay, I was focused in on this fear of this catastrophizing that I was homeless. Even though it's a real reality, I had to like move my focus away from that internal narrative that I was telling myself, to take a step back, which is step two, which is looking at the bigger picture and thinking, okay, what is it that I actually want to do with my life, right? So, like, let's say that money was no object kind of thing. What is it that I want to do? And so about seven years ago, I'd done a life coaching course, and I thought this was great. This is what I want to do, blah, blah. But then I started my journey of self-love. I wasn't ready yet. I wasn't ready to share where I am now. And so I had to go through all the things that I've been through in the last 7-8 years to get to where I am now. And then I was like, right, this is the moment. This is the moment where I get to share my wisdom, my inner knowings, my experiences, my light energy. This is it. I can do this. So I'm like starting a business, right? So that was like step two. What do I actually want to focus on? What do I want to do? And then step three was working on that internal narrative daily, right? So instead of focusing in on the fears, I was like, right, let's focus in on my strengths, right? Where am I? Like, I've achieved so much. Why am I focusing in on what I'm, where I'm going to end up in the gutter? Absolutely not. Like, I'm a beautiful, powerful, strong woman. There's so many there's so many different avenues that I can pursue. I have so many strengths. I have so many resources. Like, the internet is a massive resource. Like, why am I not using it? And as I said, because I built so many beautiful connections, I actually had people that would said that they would offer me a place to stay. And so I wasn't going to end up on the street. I might couch surf for a while. That was the reality. I might couch surf for a while, but I don't really want to do that. I don't like doing that. I don't like putting people out unless absolutely necessary, you know? So that was really, again, for me, a very, very last resort, including also the option of going back up to Scotland if I really, really had to. Step 4 was prioritizing my time. Like, how important was this right now? How important was that I had to do this right now? Because if it isn't that important, you don't have to do it, right? And so, like, for shiny people, places, and things, yeah, that had to take a step back, because what was important in my life was that I wasn't living on the street, right? Okay, this is a crisis mode, but this works with everything. Because if it is important to you, you make the time for it. You do. You make the time for it. And Sadiq said that too. Step 5 was getting clear on my goals and on my vision, which, as Sadiq said, like, you can forward plan into that 15, 20 years into the future of what you want your life to look like. But really, and do that, but just understanding that as you go through that process, it isn't going to be a perfect process. It's going to evolve over time. Like, it's going to evolve and grow, and just knowing that it's going to evolve and grow, but knowing that you've got that long-term vision that you want for your life is so, so important, because that is what's going to drive you towards what you want for your life, that long, sustainable vision. Then step 6 is creating a plan for the unresolved issues. So I still had work to find, right? Like, so reality, you know, I still have a job to find. And so I gave myself a time scale of, like, I could survive on, like, after October, I could survive like a couple of months, right? On my own. And then I would really have to look at then I was thinking, then I'll go back to Scotland. That was what my thing was. So I would take the time and I would apply for jobs that were my level, right? Like, only putting into jobs that were the value that I could give, and not going lower than that. Not that I couldn't do those jobs. I could do those jobs well, and I can do that if I really, really want to. But I've built my life up so far. Why am I going to lower myself now? I'm not going to lower myself unless I absolutely have to. Because you have a value to give, and so that was the value I demanded for myself. And those are the jobs that I applied for. And so I didn't apply for everything. I just applied for the specific things that I wanted to. And so then in November I had the job interview, and then December I got the job. But then there was what's it called? My brain is having that moment where, the pre-employment checks, where it takes forever. And so you don't know when I'm going to start this job. So I was still in this limbo, right? I was sitting in limbo at that stage, waiting to start. Step 7 was setting boundaries. And I think this is the point where managing your distractions or minimizing them comes in really well, because it's not to say that you can't engage with those people, places, and things. It's just about minimizing your time with them, unfortunately, and stating, look, I've got this thing. It's really bloody important to me. Like, really, really important to me. This is what I'm looking for the foreseeable future. This is the long term. I'm going to have to sacrifice some of our time together. Maybe instead of having an hour, we only have half an hour, right? And unfortunately, and it's not because I don't love you or don't want to spend time with you. It's just that I now then need to spend that extra half an hour that I can go and work towards my dream, my vision, and things that is going to achieve success, that then I can shower you later with gifts and, whatever you want, Like, I can bring this back. This is going to add value to you in your long run. And then step 8 is distraction. Case in point. Sorry, that was beautiful timing. Thank you. Because we're getting pizzas soon, so yeah. Yeah, so you can get excited. Your bellies are about to be filled, very, very much so. Yeah, last steps. So step 8 is set a strategy to tackle my daily tasks. So so the bigger picture's sort of sorted, that unresolved issue's sort of sorted. So that's when I looked at my weaknesses, right? And for me, that looks like a number of things. So again, working on changing the narrative around distractions. Does this help towards what I want to do? Is it for my highest good, right? Is it for my highest good? I get really bored and overwhelmed easily by any task, and so I have to break it down into subtasks. So even for me, cleaning the kitchen is not just one task. There's 50 tasks within that task. Do you get me? So it's I have to break it down like that. Otherwise, I won't go and do it. For me, repetition and practice for things that I'm not good at, and letting go of my perfectionism. And one of the biggest things is that people do as well, especially is sports. Michael Jordan is one of the biggest idols, where he practices and practices and practices and practices. You can never practice enough. You just can't, because that's how you become the best. Changing your phone settings, just turn off your notifications. That is a big one. Just turn off your notifications. If you want to focus, just turn off your notifications. If I have ideas, I write them down on my phone, my notes, because if I don't write them down, they just go out the window and I forget them, and they were really great ideas. And then if I'm putting things into structure, I ask myself specific questions about what I want that structure, what is the purpose of why, of what I want, of what I'm aiming for, who is the audience, what is the, what is it actually about, what is it that you're going to get out of it. Understanding that progress isn't linear, right? You're still going to get distracted time and time again. And so if you get distracted, go back and do the full 7 steps beforehand, because these apply to anything, whether it's big or small. So going through the steps again. And then I thought of 2 others. Step 9, which is daily self-worth and belief. Because if you don't believe in yourself and what you're doing, and working on, again, that internal narrative, you're not going to push yourself to where you're going to go. You're not going to push yourself out of your comfort zone and to knowing what you're capable of. Number 10 is following and trusting your intuition. I had no idea I was doing these steps. Everything was intuitive to me. I follow my intuition on a daily basis of where I go, what I do. But at the same time, when I'm reflecting back, these are the steps that I took.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
Fabulous.
It's beautiful.